Hey everybody, Mrs. K here with another art lesson. So this week we're talking about value. And value in art doesn't mean how much something costs, it means lights and darks. So we're going to draw a picture that has some lights and darks today. The first thing that I did was take a bowl and I put it in the middle of my paper and I traced a circle. We're going to do a bunch of circles that kind of get smaller and smaller and smaller. So I liked one big circle to start with just to help me draw the rest of them. So now I'm going to draw a circle that's a slightly smaller circle. So I'm going to come in about an inch and I'm just going to look at the distance between my paper, my pencil and this line here. And I'm just going to try my best to make it the same distance all the way around the circle. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, and that's okay. So I'm going to draw a couple more. I'm going to draw one more inside here. And you don't have to press too hard with your pencil. I'm pressing a little bit harder than I normally would, just because I need it to show up on the camera. You can press pretty light with your pencil, and we're going to color these things in. And then I'm going to draw a bigger circle out here. And it's going to run off the edge of the paper, and that's okay. And then maybe get the corners. There. Maybe I'll fix it here. Okay. So now I have a bunch of circles that go big to small. So we need to pick one color, and that color is blue. You can pick light blue or dark blue, but it has to be a blue because we are going to be coloring in water. So our circles are going to go from dark to light. I think it's easiest to start coloring the lightest color first because you can always make it darker, but you can't make the darker color lighter. Okay, so in the center is going to be the lightest color here. So I'm going to color just a whisper of blue. I'm going to make sure all my lines touch, but I'm like barely touching the paper. I want it to be super, super light. The lightest blue that you can make. Awesome. So the next circle is going to be darker than this one, but only by a little bit. So I'm going to press a little bit harder. And I'm going to kind of color in a circle. That's going to help the look that we're going for, because it's going to look like the water gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and that's why it gets darker. And sometimes I like to turn my paper as I'm coloring. It makes it easier sometimes to color in this circle. Trying to make sure all my lines touch so it doesn't look scribbly, so it looks nice and clean. Practicing good craftsmanship always. And I'm just going to take it to that circle line and keep going all the way around. Okay, halfway there. Okay, so this is another light blue, but it's slightly darker. You can see lightest, slightly darker. Okay, so then we're going to go to our fourth value. That means I'm pressing a little bit harder than I did on this one. This is like a medium pressure. The other two were like really light, and really light. This one's like a medium pressure. So coloring in that circular fashion. I'm trying to eliminate any white marks. Anywhere the paper shows through. The most important thing for each of these rings is that they go from light to dark. As the rings get bigger, they get darker. And then also that each ring is pretty consistent in its color. It means it's pretty much the same. You don't have light spots and dark spots in the same circle. It's all one color. Okay. Oh, and it looks like this one's like much darker than this one. So I think I'm just going to go back and just whisper over this one a little bit more. Just so the color difference isn't quite as shocking. I just want it to fade from light to dark. I don't want it to be a harsh color difference. So adding just like another little light layer over top. This is why I went from light to dark. Helps make it blend in with the other darker colors just a little bit more. Okay, that's a little bit better. So now I pressed medium here. We're gonna start pressing like medium hard here. Just take your time. I know it takes a little while, but it's gonna look good when we're done. Okay, so you can already see that it's going from light to dark. I have another rank here, and then I have some corners. So here I'm going to press hard, and here I'm going to press really, really hard. You can't really do this project with markers, but you could do it with colored pencils. I like using crayons though, because crayons are really cheap. You would go through, because you're just using one, you'd go through like an entire blue colored pencil. So I would really suggest using crayons for this project. Or paint. If you have paint at home, you're more than welcome to like mix blue and white together to get different values. That's totally fine. I'm not doing paint just because most kids might not have paint at home. So we're going to do crayons. And it looks good with crayons too. And it doesn't have to dry. And actually, I think I'm just going to color the corners the same color. I don't think I can get much darker with this blue crayon. Okay, 2 more corners. Flip my paper. My hand hurts. Shake it out if your hand hurts too. Awesome. So I have blue circles that go from dark to light. So this picture definitely shows value. Light, lightest, light, light medium, medium, hard. Okay, so that's the different levels of pressure that I used with my hand in that crayon. So yes, it kind of looks like water. If you told somebody it was water, they would believe you. But we are going to add some animals in here to make it look like an ocean. So you can do it in whatever range that you want. This is closer to the sun, and this is deeper water. So this is like shallow water, and this is darker, like deeper water. So animals here are going to be closer to us, so we're going to draw them bigger. Okay, so what I'm going to do is draw, I think, a shark here. And these animals, it's like you're laying on the ocean floor and you're looking up. So we're only going to see part of them. And we're going to use black crayons, and what we're going to draw them as are silhouettes. Silhouettes are just black images. They don't have any details to them because we're not going to be able to see them. The light is behind them, and that kind of darkens out any of the features, okay? So it's kind of like a person standing in front of a sunset. You wouldn't really see a lot of their features. You would just see like a dark shape. So for my shark, I'm going to draw a kind of a curved line like this. And then I'm going to draw around for his head, tuck it in. Now I'm getting to his body and down to his tail. Okay? And I'm going to color that in black. So I'm not drawing eyes. You're not going to see eyes, ears, noses. You're just going to see like the outline shape. That's what a silhouette is. Okay, so let's add some fins. They're like little triangles. for those little arms. You're not going to see the fin on his back because this is like looking up at his belly. And we'd see 2 fins for the tail. Oops, this one comes off the paper a little bit. That's okay. I'm going to draw as much as I can. And then the other part of his tail. Awesome. So you can do more than one shark if you want. It's completely up to you. You can do all sharks if you want. I'm going to show you how to draw some other ocean animals as well. So a turtle is not going to be quite as big as a shark. And it's also closer to our sun. So I'm going to draw it a little bit smaller. Maybe here. I'm going to draw an oval for his body. And you can draw these ahead with pencil if you want to. I'm not going to though. I'm going to draw a little head oval. Turtles have tiny little tails. And then they have arms. They kind of curve out like this. And legs that do the same thing. Okay, it's kind of like a little spider. Okay, so we have a shark, we have a turtle. Let's do a tiny little jellyfish. I'm going to draw it super small. So it's just like a tiny little dot with legs. Tiny, tiny little thing. Maybe a little bit bigger. Okay. So you can fill up the rest of your paper if you want. I'm going to fill up mine and then you can see it in the next slide below. See you later, guys. Bye.